Have you ever had one of those I wish I knew moments that hit you only after the fact? Hi, I'm Christine Lee, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Coffee Chat with Christine. I've been in the States for about 15, 16 years now. I first came here in high school for boarding school, not knowing what to expect, to now helping top financial firms and their executives navigate the digital landscape. And today, I'm excited to share the top 5 things I wish I knew during this journey, including before coming to the US for high school, going to college, getting my master's degree, getting my first job, and starting my digital marketing career in New York City. My journey began when I was 16, when I moved here for boarding school. Soon afterwards, I went to Washington University in St. Louis to pursue my major in graphic design, and then moved to New York to pursue my master's degree in art law and business. Now, I work as a digital marketer in New York, helping top financial services firms navigate the shifting digital landscape with over 5 years of experience. Thinking back to my journey, I've had so many moments when I thought, oh, I really wish I knew this earlier, or I wish I had someone tell me about this sooner. That's why I wanted to use this channel as an opportunity to share some of my experiences. And of course, I'm also in the process of figuring out my own path. So I'm not going to know everything, but hopefully some of the things that I share will be helpful for you in making your informed decisions. Imagine if you could rewind back to those moments where you wish you had handled differently. What changes would you make? My number one I wish I knew moment goes back to high school. Thinking back to high school, the one thing that I wish I knew before making my decision to go to boarding school was the fact that the moment I made that move, that meant that I'm completely on my own. Back then, I didn't fully grasp that it meant starting to adult much sooner and having very limited time with your family. It was about just 3 months a year, which is very limited as a 16-year-old. Although I'm completely am pro boarding school because it made me independent and helped shape who I am today. That's something that I wish I knew. Having that full understanding of that impact on family time and that's only the beginning is something I really wish I knew before making my decision to go to boarding school. Reflecting on my college decision and something I would have done differently, I would definitely put location into my consideration. When I chose Washington University in St. Louis, I honestly looked at rankings, and I'm sure a lot of people do that when making their college decisions. And back then, WashU was top 15, 16, so it was way up there. And don't get me wrong, I really loved the campus, really enjoyed my college life with my friends, but being located in Missouri, St. Louis, I'd say was a disadvantage when it came to looking for internship or job opportunities, as it was very far from the major job markets. There are certainly many factors to consider when making college decisions, but for me, I'd say location is a big factor to consider. Either look at colleges that are within that city or within that vicinity. That way, you get higher networking opportunities and chance of running into someone or having someone who graduated from the same school who's already out there working you could reach out to for more information. Plus, when it's time to do interviews for your internships or jobs, you can actually be there in person if needed. If I could go back to right when I got out of college with a graphic design degree from WashU, I frankly would think again about getting my master's degree. I know a lot of people ask, is a master's degree worth it? And my answer to that question is that it really depends. And sometimes it's totally not necessary. I'd say real life experience is valued so much more. And that's definitely something that you should keep in mind. When I graduated, I wanted to come to New York for work and wanted to learn more about the marketing side of art and design, which led me to pursue my master's degree in art law and business. Although the program definitely opened my eyes up to a whole new world of the art market, which I don't think I would have known if I hadn't taken the program, it definitely wasn't a cheap program. Fortunately for me, my niche experience through that program led me to get my first job as a marketing strategist at a specialty specialty insurance company, they had our title insurance business unit, which was very closely tied with the experience I got from the master's program, as well as it required the graphic design skills that I learned from my college degree. However, if I could go back, I would continue looking for an entry-level job or look for a program for recent graduates that have the potential to convert to full-time if you did well. So before you make that decision to pursue a master's degree, definitely think about whether that investment would be worth it, because a lot of the master's programs aren't cheap. Evaluate whether that degree aligns with your career goals. Even consider looking at other opportunities that might get you real life experiences that could be more beneficial for you. Something I want to add to that is that think about your end goal, which for an average person like me would be to get a good job that could help pay for the bills. It's never a great feeling to feel behind. Of course, you shouldn't always compare yourself to others because everyone has their own unique career paths. But sometimes it's hard not to do that. It wasn't until later that I realized that I wish I had started my career earlier, because it wasn't until 26 that I started my first full-time job. I personally think there's much benefit to starting your career early, such as gaining your experience earlier, starting to earn, save, and invest much sooner, which I personally think gives you a huge leg up, both professionally and financially in the long term. Thinking back to early in my career, there are some things that I should have prioritized when looking at firms. The reality is that unless you're in banking, asset management, PE, or big law, pay for entry-level jobs for an industry like marketing isn't super high, especially given how expensive rent and living expenses are in New York. With the low pay when you first start, I think you should absolutely prioritize learning. And yes, all companies are going to say, oh, you're going to have ample opportunities for growth, learning opportunities at the firm. But you need to be careful here, because the opportunities you'll be able to get vary vastly by company. So what you need to be able to do is you need to be able to ask the right questions, like, what's the structure of the team like? Who can I learn from and how? Do you guys have a system in place for coverage across different team members? If I'm interested in XYZ, what processes are in place, or what resources are available to me to get those opportunities to learn? You should make sure that you're not going to be in a situation where you'll be alone and be stuck in a situation where you need to learn everything yourself, especially when you're early in your career. Having someone experienced who could guide you and someone who you can learn from can really, really help you, especially when you're early in your career, in helping you grow faster and accelerate your learning. Sometimes it's hard to tell until you're at the company, but if you're feeling like there's not enough learning, not enough guidance for you, it's time to leave. And that's okay, because it's not a one-way street between you and the firm. It's a two-way street. Okay, so after hearing about my top 5 I wish I knew moments, did any resonate with you? In this video, I walked you through the big 5 moments throughout the different stages of my life more broadly. But if you're interested in joining me in deeper dive conversations about some of the other lessons that I've learned along the way, definitely check out my next video on how I became a digital marketer in New York.